Double Dragon 2. Hands down, the best beat 'em up ever. Bold statement, I know. Might not be true, but from what I've played, it is. And certainly the best one on the NES. Right, let's get after it. I'm going to do this video on original hardware instead of the Switch, so you can see the game in all its 8-bit glory. This game was brilliant playing as co-op, but if you're playing by yourself, select Game B and beat the other character up to get extra lives. I know it can be a bit of a faff and time consuming, but it's well worth it towards the end of the game if you're struggling. You can also use Game B if you're doing a speed run by kneeing each other across the screen to get through the levels even quicker. I think my siblings and I only had this game a few months before our parents took it away from us. I can't remember what the trigger was, but probably falling out one too many times. My parents took one look at this game and said it was far too violent and far too graphic. And that was that. Looking back, it's quite laughable considering the games of today. Losing the game wasn't the end of the story. It got shipped off to one of my friends' houses where we still got a chance to play it. I'm not sure if my parents realized that, but what they don't know can't hurt them. Anyway, a couple years later, it ended up back in our collection, so my parents must have had a change of heart. What I thought was really cool as a kid is that you could grab your enemies. You could elbow them, you could kick them, or you could throw them. You could even throw them into a wall if you're lucky. I'm sure this absolutely horrified my parents. The level 1 boss was always epic. What was great in co-op, if one of you got grabbed by the boss, one player could save the other. We also like to lure the boss to the edge of the building and then kick him off. Oh, epic fail. Right, there you go. Level 2 was a pretty straightforward level. I've never seen such a generous use of drain pipes in all my life. The glove that points you where you need to go looks like something from Michael Jackson, or maybe Mickey Mouse. The helicopter swooping in was a pretty cool effect, I thought. And I always used to take damage from it. And what I also thought was really cool was guys used to jump out of it afterwards. And silly deaths like that, they happen. Let's move on. The bosses at the end of the level, really difficult. They're just so quick, you can never keep up with them. Since there's 2 of them, you used to find yourself getting beat on from both sides. For some reason as a kid, I always used to walk to the corner of the screen at the end of the level, just to prove that there's no way possible I could have gone on that helicopter. Level 3 was a blink and you miss it kind of level. It was so short, but it was cool. You're fighting in a helicopter, people can get sucked outside. It was great. Unless you get sucked out and it's game over. Right, back again. Just clear out the 2 bosses, and that's a level over. Level 4, you go underwater to some underground base, which is pretty cool. And you even got to see Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look at him. That's gotta be Arnold. What I like to do is just hit my head on the ceiling, because that didn't take any damage off you whatsoever, and keep jump kicking him or kneeing him. Then, you move on to the next thing. There's the spikes from Contra. I don't know how they ended up in this game, but there they are. Avoid these, and towards the end of the level, fight another couple guys in this alleyway, and then watch out for these conveyor belts. I don't know why they'd be a conveyor belt outside of a door, but that's Double Dragon for you. Level 5. Well, you're over halfway through the game now, and this is where the cheap deaths start coming in. What I like here is jump down, but over here by the water, I always go to the top path, but many a game has ended here. I just find it really annoying that you can't walk in water. How deep is this water? Why can't they swim? And another place where the cheap deaths come in is when these big muscle men grab you and just throw you over the edge. Many a game has ended here as well. And at the end of the level, there's this crazy bulldozer kind of thing. I mean, what is this? Anyway, it looks cool, but it's so annoying getting up there. Oh, what's going on here? Anyway, beat all the guys coming out of it and fight Arnold Schwarzenegger again. And my tip for this is just keep jump kicking him, jump from tread to platform, and just keep avoiding him, and he'll eventually die. Level 6. I think the programmers lost the plot here a bit. This is more like Super Mario Bros. 3 than Double Dragon, jumping from platform to platform. And, well, at least it's very brief, but you can lose a lot of lives here. And this bit with the eyes, that's kind of cool. Level 7, it starts out with a bit more platforming, and then you move on to a section where the floor starts disappearing. This brings absolute panic into your mind when you're a kid. It was awesome. Sometimes you feel like you're never going to make it into that door, but when you did, it was such a rush. And again, you move on to this stage here. This kind of reminds me of the clock level in Castlevania 3. And the end, you fight Arnold again. Get rid of him. I'll be back. The last level, you've made it. And if things get too difficult for you, you can always plug in a turbo controller and knee bunt your way through the rest of the game. One thing I really liked about this is this epic jump you can do instead of taking the ladder. And fighting a few more people, you make it to the end. And you actually fight yourself. Well, that was brief. Right, back to level 8. I'm just doing this on the Switch because the graphics are a bit better. Now you need to fight yourself. He shoots kind of weird stuff. And he's pretty tricky. He's just as quick as you, so you can't outrun him. And he gets inside of you. Ugh, that's some sort of violation, that is. Anyway, beat him, and you're to the final spinning boss, the crazy spinning man. And he does flips and jumps and all sort of crazy stuff. But the end is awesome. That last punch and everything goes slow-mo. Perfection. And that's the end of the game. One of the best games on the NES ever. That's the job lot. See you next time.